Okay, if everything has gone according to plan, we should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone and welcome to the most special of days. It's Capitalism Day, the day when our savior Jeff Bezos supplies us with plenty of dubious discounts on Amazon and other websites as well. But of course, as usual, we'll be mostly sticking to Amazon. But like what I believe we did last year as well, we did like a competition between Amazon and Newegg, who has the best Black Friday deals. I think we're going to do the same this time around. So if you don't know the rules of this game, if you're here for the very first time, we'll be trying to create a PC using only things that are on sale. So they have to be marked as part of a Black Friday sale. That's rule number one. Rule number two is that we have a very strict budget we'll be sticking to. And the budget is usually decided by you guys. And if you're wondering why I'm constantly looking up over there, that's because that's where I have my chat. So you can see what you guys are suggesting and what kind of stuff you guys are talking about in the live chat. So again, as always, suggest what kind of budget we should be going for. Keep in mind, this one is going to be probably the worst build since the big GPU shortage. Because now we have the big RAM shortage and we're seeing prices go up 3, 4, 5 times. So we can either have a bigger budget to compensate for that, or to make things a lot more challenging and more realistic to how a normal person would do it, because they don't have magically just $200, $300 more to spend on memory, stick to the same budget, and then be forced to make certain concessions elsewhere. So that's kind of, I think we're going to stick with that, but again, as usual, you guys let me know what kind of budget we should be working with, what basically will be our goal with this build. And then everything will be going into this real nice little spreadsheet I made in like 5 minutes, where we will be seeing who's going to be the winner at the end. Is it going to be Amazon, or is it going to be Newegg? So again, as usual, please, please, please let me know what kind of budget we should be going for. If there's any kind of price choices you disagree with, for example, do let me know. And again, hopefully we can make it that we just have a pretty good overall build at the end. Why can't you see me when I'm in this view? There we go. You should be able to see me whenever I'm in my little spreadsheet over here. But whatever, let's just go straight into it. Let's start off with Amazon. And while you guys are deciding on a budget, then, oh, Justin is saying add a fair bit extra for the RAM. I think that will make things too easy though, you know? Like, I get it, I do, but at the same time, I feel it would just make things too easy. Granted, it's not as bad as it was back in the GPU shortage days, but I think, I don't know. Like, what budget should we go for then? Let me know, and then we can just kind of start from that. Because obviously, the memory is going to be the main thing to worry about in this build, because if we just go DDR5 RAM, I'm scared to even look. That is, if there's even going to be anything available. There were already, like I talked about it during the last stream we did, which was like for Amazon Prime big deal days or whatever they're calling it. Like there was an issue that like nothing was on sale in terms of RAM. Like there was stuff on sale, but like there wasn't a special button here. Because Amazon, despite being one of the biggest companies in the world, can't design a website apparently. And so like there wasn't a button there to actually make it. And the reason for it is that because there was like barely any deals for memory. And that was back in like what, September. So now it's gonna be even worse. Like even if I Google search up on Amazon RAM, like nothing is showing up that even has the Black Friday deals tag. We have this, which isn't even memory. It is a SSD. I have no idea what it's doing here. I see why. It is a bundle. It's 32 gigs. I was wondering what this was. I thought it was like a heatsink or something, but no, it's 32 gigs and a 4 terabyte SSD for $539. With current prices for memory, that is actually a good deal. And I'm so sad about that. And it's normal price, which who knows how realistic that is. We all know that these like kind of regular listed prices before a sale are usually bogus, but its normal listed price is $780. 781 almost bucks for 32 gigs of RAM. Granted again, you are getting a 4 gig kit with it. But to be fair, I think this is going to be the star of of this whole thing. And I think if we want to stay true to the rules of the game, which again we had a bit of an issue with the last stream because barely anything was on sale when it comes to memory, we are going to have to go with this, which again, in normal conditions, this is extortionate. But in our current apocalyptic times when AI is hogging all of the NAND, this is probably as good of a deal as it's going to get. So if any of you watching want to get yourself some memory, even if it's just 32 gigs, before things get even worse, we already found a pretty decent deal for you guys. You get a 4 terabyte SSD with it. It's Gen 5 as well. For that kind of price is actually pretty decent. Okay, I know we're working completely backwards. We usually either go with a CPU first, and then get like a motherboard around it and whatever, or we go with a graphics card first, and that kind of determines our whole budget. But no, we're at a point where we have to do the memory first, because that literally then dictates the entire budget. And by the way, if I'm a bit slow responding to chat as well, that's because chat, like YouTube itself, for some reason, is kind of slow today. Not that that like isn't working, everything is working, but just slower. And everything like loads much longer. I don't know why. Anyway, that is the only thing I see that's on sale, so I think we are gonna have to go with it. At least it's decent RAM, it's from Crucial, so it's like not some complete generic Chinese brand. That's good. And I think we do have to go for it, because we're now getting into the realm of parts for the RAM as in the car, and also whatever this is, love, service, devotion, and the ultimate surrender RAM, that's on the, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Okay, yeah, we're getting into page 4 of Amazon is just absolute no man's land at this point. So let us go back to the relative safety of page 1, where we have to instead just deal with the extortionate pricing that they have. Again, maybe not technically extortionate, it's just supply and demand, baby. High demand, low supply, and that's the result. If you're still in DDR4, hey, good for you. For the rest of us, I thankfully have some strategic supplies, you know, locked up in a vault somewhere behind several layers of security and a turret. I have some kits from like Bywin and G-Skill, including those G-Skin Royals, who are... I made a joke in a video about this memory situation, that it's like literally as good of an investment as actual gold or silver. Those gold and silver modules from them. I don't even want to know how much they cost now. $400 for the 32 gig kit. That's the one I have. Pretty sure 6000 megahertz CO28. Yeah, I think that's the one that they sent over. Okay, we need to decide on a budget. But first and foremost, we also need to add this, wherever that went. There it is, to our spreadsheet. So let's just jump over to that. And again, please let me know what kind of budget we should be going for here, and if we should compensate for the fact that memory prices are what they are. So, but I have way too many tabs open. Give me a second. So, thing number one. Thing number one is memory, which is over there. I have to literally duck because my camera's blocking it. And then the price was, how much did I say? $539. $539. However, that does mean our storage situation is at least sorted. So that's something. Okay, first step taken. That is, I was thinking budget-wise something like $1,200, $1,300. That's most of our budget gone already. I hate this. I really, really do. But we just have to play. Oh, Justin says $1,900. I feel like that would be a bit too easy. Even given the conditions here, I think that would be a bit too easy. But 1,900 I think would be good if we were doing like a full build, peripherals included. Right now we're only gonna be doing the base PC itself. $1,500? Like, do you guys think that's fair? That's a decent budget for a PC nowadays, especially given the the current RAM market. I think that could be fine. If everyone's happy with that, let me know, and we can start going towards a $1,500 budget. And we can also start looking towards our graphics card, because again, that's going to be another thing that's going to greatly impact the rest of our choices. Thankfully, we do have quite a few good things on sale here. 9060 XT for $370. Honestly, we'd probably want something a bit better than that for this budget. We'd probably be aiming for at least a 5070, which is going to be $570. I feel like we go for 5070 in every single one of our builds, and it's usually Asus. Asus are usually the ones that have the deals. I think we've gone for like a 9070 XT once before, maybe. People are joining in from Italy. Hello, buongiorno. Welcome to our live stream. How's the memory price situation in other parts of the world? Let me know. Like, is it as bad as in Italy, as bad in like Australia? Let me know, because I'm on American Amazon here, obviously, but as on the UK one as well, it's the same situation. It's just as depressing. It's just as depressing. We can go for an R7 350. Only $64. Who knows? Maybe that's everything we can afford with these kind of memory prices. And again, why are you showing me this, Amazon, when I specifically said graphics card? This is not a graphics card. A graphics card slots into it, but it isn't one. So why are you showing that to me, $1 trillion company? Are they $1 trillion? I think like a bit below $1 trillion, I think. 9070 non-XT? See, looking at it price-wise, where was the non-XT? There's the 9060 XT, 9070 XT. Was there a non-XT on sale? GT 730. I don't think we even have a non-XT on sale, unfortunately. GT 730 RX. There, okay, it's Wild West. By the time you get to page 2, it's Wild West again. So, we're gonna have to stick to page 1 over here, and if we go with AMD, we are spending almost $100 more. Someone look up the difference for me. Or like I'll quickly look up myself. Obviously, I'm maybe disappointing a few people here, but I do not know the performance difference between every single graphics card SKU out there off the top of my head. Okay. I admit it. I'm a fraud. I can't list exactly how a 5070 performs against a 9070 XT from memory. I'm sorry. So I'm going to have to look up some results, and the first thing that showed up is user benchmarks. No. Something a bit better. TechSpot, sure. Just give me a graph. I'll take the first graph I see. Ideally with Cyberpunk or something. So the 9070 XT is very much the better choice by quite a big margin by looking at this, which I'm actually surprised by how big of a margin it actually is. The 5070 Ti then wins out against that. Like, the difference between the 5070 and 5070 Ti is also quite big, but we don't have that really, so... And then there's some other games here I'm seeing where the 5070 performs better. But I think overall, the 9070 XT clutches it more often. I don't know, the further down I look down here, the more like even it is. They kind of trade blows in pretty much everything. The 9070 XT seems to be... Okay, here's the only one I care about, Cyberpunk. And 9070 XT does perform better there. We do have a fallback plan. I think with a $1,500 budget, as we're going for right now, we can potentially get away with a 9070 XT, especially because there's a few SKUs to choose from here. We have the one from Power Color, we have the one from XFX. Okay, we have 2 SKUs to choose from, but hey, that's still a choice. If there was only one, that wouldn't be a choice, but we have 2. So that technically counts as a choice. And we can go and scale back down to a 5070 if we were really tight for budget after that. Look at these dates though. fastest delivery, December 20th to January 23rd, 2026? Are these cards not even made yet? Are they just a pile of sand and they make them on when they're ordered? Like, what is this? Like, I don't care about these kind of dates usually for these live streams. It's just kind of, the only thing I care about in these live streams is just that they have that little sticker that says they are part of the Black Friday sale. So yeah, I think we're gonna go for this, and if we really, really cannot squeeze everything else we need, then we are going to downgrade. So, again, we're doing things in a completely bonkers order this time around, but again, it is what it is. And it is, what did they say it is? $649. I can't remember if I usually round up or not. I don't think I think I usually may round up to like the nearest 10, or do I usually round up just to the nearest dollar? I can't remember, but either way, I'm definitely not rounding up here because we're going to be needing every single penny we can get. So it's just going to be rounding up to the dollar. Okay, that is already most of our budget gone. We have like $300 left, and we still don't have a CPU, a motherboard, a PSU, or a case, or a CPU cooler. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. That is just the motto. Why do I say it like that? It's just the motto of this live stream. It is what it is. Now, in terms of CPUs, let's go with CPU first and then see what is available. Apparently nothing is available because we don't have the little icon thingy again, a little checkbox that allows us to check Black Friday deals. Is there really not a single CPU on sale? What? Like, I get memory not being on sale, but why is like no one offering anything? There's usually at least a couple of things. Why is there nothing on sale on CPUs? Okay, we may have to break some of our own rules there because there's literally not a single thing on sale. And we're at a point where Amazon's throwing PSUs at us. That is so bizarre. Why is there not a single thing that is... Unless we like get a pre-built, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Why? I don't get that. Okay, so let's go with motherboard first, and then, based on what's the best deal here, we'll choose whatever not on sale CPU we choose later. We may also have to scale our budget a bit because I don't think we're going to make it in $1,500. At least the prices here are decent enough. $200 for like a B850, $190. Again, that's going to take so much of a budget. A B760 Plus though, that's $130. That's pretty decent, and there's gonna be some good CPUs we can get for that. Granted, it's a dead-end socket, but like whatever. If you have to, you have to, you know. For a bit more, we could maybe go for like a slightly different. We can go for AMD instead. Bundle? Like, I don't think there were any bundles. I know there's definitely gonna be bundles on Newegg because like bundles are the whole thing. There is, if we want to go AMD instead, we do have a choice of going with B650M, so it's an M80X, but let's be honest, you aren't gonna use those extra PCI slots for anything. That's 150. Let's go back and look at the CPUs and seeing what we can choose in our budget, because we have free reign. If nothing is on sale, then I guess that means everything goes. I think this is like the first time it ever happened in this game's history, and we've been doing it for like 5 years. And this is like the first time not a single CPU has been on sale for some reason. Obviously, we're not going to go for something like this because that's like way over our budget. But we also want something that's at least like a decent, a decent counterpart to a 5070 or 9070 XT. Like maybe a 12600 KF. That's, I don't know, I'd want something that's at least like 13th gen. 14th gen, like, no, whatever, but like at least 13th gen will be fine. Issue is, I don't think that's even on sale. They just been selling so well that I don't think they're even offering them on Amazon anymore. At least I haven't spotted one. Then you have like the new stuff, which good luck getting a like a decently priced motherboard for that. I don't want to go 12th gen. That's like so old at this point. But at the same time, I don't want to go 14th gen because of the pricing. So what do? What do? I don't know what to do. This is like the most difficult one of these streams we've done. Unless you just kick into it in the head and you go AMD instead. And we just go for a 57... No, that's aim4. Never mind. We go for a 9600X for $195. And that's I think the best choice we have here. It's a current gen, decently fast, new socket. And yeah, okay. So we're gonna go for that. We are gonna have to downgrade our graphics card definitely. Which, yeah, okay. I hate this game so much. I really, really do. But whatever. If you have to, you have to. And we're choosing this, and it's going to be $195. 195. There's no way, because even if we add a motherboard right now, that's going to tip our budget. I think we're going to need a different budget, and it's all because of that dumb memory. Again, at least we don't have to pay for an SSD, but still, okay. So let's go back and add a motherboard to match. So we're going for like just the cheapest AM5 thing that's on sale. I should probably clarify that. AM5 motherboard. There we go. What do we have? Black Friday deals only, please. There's a B650 that's kind of old at this point, but still offers you pretty much everything you could ever need. And it's also from the Eagle line, so like that's like the most basic level Gigabyte do offer. I'm sticking with my 1400K, 1490K for my main workstation and going to see what Intel, AMD, Nvidia brings out by Q4 2026. Well, we do know that they will be bringing out Nova Lake. Won't be probably seeing RTX 60 series next year if we still don't even have like the refresh 50 Super series. I can tell you that much so far. We'll get a clearer picture at CES, which is just around the corner, which, by the way, if you want to help us go to CES, because it's kind of expensive, if you'll be buying literally anything, and I mean literally anything, it could be cat food or whatever, on Amazon or on Newegg, even though I don't think Newegg does cat food. If you buy literally anything using our links, which will be down in the video description below, you don't pay anything extra, and we get some money. That does go a long way in making, you know, trips like that to Vegas actually possible. It's going to be a big trip. Like last year's CES was just huge. It was such an insane trip, and like we'll be making even more content, even more awesome stuff this year. So it does definitely go a long way. And anyway, once that plug is over, we can go back to seeing what we have on sale here. I want to at least go B850 because just some of those better features you get there. Usually faster USB and more USB Type-C. But like our budget is already so tight that I don't think we have an option. Because our cheapest B850 is going to be this one here, $190. So it's $50 we are wasting just for some slightly faster stuff. So like whatever. Oh, no, no, no. There's the B850 Eagle. And in fact, because we're switching back to that Asus 5070, that Asus 5070 is in fact white. And this motherboard is going to fit that actually pretty well. So, I think we're going to go for this. And then we just hope we can somehow build something around that. Hey, we have brothers from Poland joining. Hello, hello, welcome. I don't think we will see the new 6000 series more of a Super. Yeah, I think we're definitely getting Super next year. So if we're getting Super next year, I don't think we'll be getting 6000 series next year, because I don't know. But they've depends also on the exact time frame. If they announce 50 Super at CES, which is maybe kind of likely, they'll probably release it like a month later. And then for like a late October, November release for 60 series, I could maybe see that. I think that if we get a 60 series next year, it's gonna be like November, December. Or it's just gonna be CES 2027 that they're just gonna announce it, and then like immediate January release after that. That's kind of how I see it, but again, we have to wait until CES to get a really clear picture of what they're planning. So anyway, next up, I literally need to like duck every single time I'm in the top left corner of the spreadsheet, because I cannot see what I'm doing because my camera's in the way. That's what I get for using a 6K camera, is essentially a webcam for a live stream. Next up, we need some CPU cooler. Actually, no, we need to go back and downgrade our graphics card, because that 9070 XT was a bit too optimistic, as it turns out. So we're gonna go get ourselves some of this, and that's gonna cost us $570. We're still almost over budget, and we still have like half the stuff done. I'm sorry guys, I try my best, but I think we need to change our budget because there's no way we can do this. It's actually physically impossible unless we go for just, well, I joked about maybe having to go for that, what was it? That GT 730. I think we may actually have to go for a GT 730 if we want to stick to the original budget. So, please vote on a new budget. I'm sorry, but the $1,500 PC is just not happening, and you can blame the memory shortage. Even if it's just $100 more, maybe we could be able to do it. Like, we can see, because we have $21 spare now. If we have $121 for everything else we need, that could be doable. Do I have your permission, chat? Oh, benevolent counsel in the live chat, to raise the budget for this build, and then of course we'll also raise it to $1,600 for the Newegg one, just to be fair. Yeah, I think a lot of the consumer GPU things could actually be getting delayed because of the AI demand. So, an RTX 60 series announcement at CES 2027, I think kind of likely. And then like an immediate January or like February release. I think that's the time frame we're looking at right now when it comes to that. $5,000 budget? Okay, I think that would be a bit too easy. That kind of defeats the point of deal hunting. If you can build a $5,000 PC, odds are you don't have to wait until Black Friday to get a few dollars off. I'm sorry. Okay, so do we just go for this? Do we just go for 1600? I think we do, and I think we just go with a CPU cooler next, which is usually pretty good deals from, especially Be Quiet. They usually do plenty of Black Friday sales. Corsair, Cooler Master as well for the AIOs usually do quite a few stuff. So we have quite a few choices here, unlike with the CPUs where we had none, and then memory where we had one, and it was just a bundle with some storage. I mean, Crucial do have the advantage where they make both SSDs and memory, so they can make this kind of really cool bundles. And again, if you're really desperate, I would actually maybe recommend looking into a bundle yourself. Like, it's one of those things that is actually like, it's a deal I would recommend in these awful times, because normally you'd be paying like $250 or $300 for that 32 gigs of RAM standalone. Like, it's actually insane how much it's gone up in just like it feels like a week. We're going for like a 9600X, so we really don't need anything too spectacular here. Even something like this would probably be fine. However, we also don't want it to boil to death. And I usually like going for an AIO because it also removes the need to buy additional fans for the case. But also, I kind of hate picking AIOs because it usually means that the fans don't match the rest of the fans that come with the case. And also, if we're going for a wide build now, apparently, because that's just how Fate wanted it, we also kind of want something that fits into a wide build. And there are some wide choices here. This is a bit too wimpy, I'd say. There's a Cooler Master Hyper 212. Like, it's a really solid choice. Again, it would be fair enough for like a 9600X, I reckon. Yeah, $1,600 is I think the lowest possible one we can do. Like, when you said earlier, Justin, like $1,900, like a $2,000 budget or whatever it was, I was like, there's no way we'd need that much. It's not that bad. It's that bad. So, yeah. You can get yourself a $300 AIO with a nice panoramic screen. There was so many of those last time when I went to Computex. Oh, an ID cooling Frostflow white AIO here, or thermal right, Peerless Assassin 120, a dual fan, a dual heatsink setup, $38. I think that's the one. I think that is the one, unless anyone spots anything else. There's this thing here which is $10 cheaper, but also it's from a company that apparently just does not want to, no, they don't even want you to know who made that company. Also, it doesn't even look white. It's a kind of offish grey that kind of looks like it's just there was no color applied to it in a render. You know what you know what I'm talking about? It's like when you go into Blender and it's that like default grey of an object that has no color applied to it. That is what that color looks like. Blender grey. So, do we go for the thermal right, or do we go $5 more and we get ourselves, okay, not $5, but the ID cooling, whatever one right here. It's an AIO. I guess it also depends on what case we go for. So yeah, let's work completely backwards. Let's go for a PC case next, because that also dictates exactly how many extra fans we're going to need to buy, how much sense there would be in, say, getting a an AIO, that kind of stuff. This Mustex brand, I see it every single time we do on these streams. They are always there. They always have so many things on sale. Like, they clearly can't be that bad if they've been around for so long and they have so many SKUs. And they have like pretty decent ratings. We are sticking to white for this, so maybe something like this, unless this is a ATX. No, it isn't ATX. This is just like a regular mid tower. So ATX would work fine here. It's a bit too expensive for a budget though. Pretty much always we go for one of these like really like no-name generic brands for the case, unless there's like something really big on sale. And I think I'm gonna do it again because, yeah, there's plenty of Asus stuff on sale, but that's way out of budget. Be Quiet stuff here. This is interesting. It's like both white and also wood grain, it looks like. What am I looking at here? What is this color scheme? Oh, it's wood grain and silver? It's wood grain, silver, and black. Ambitious. Brave. However, I don't think... yeah, it was a good experiment, but a failed one. I'd say that much. Maybe there's someone who likes that aesthetic, but I don't really think those colors mix together too well. So we may have to go for the Muse sticks. There's this one right here, which is slightly cheaper by $2. What else do we have? There's Corsair, but again, it's a bit too much. Where was I? I think it was on page 3. Yeah. There is, however, this Aerocool right here. It's at least from a brand that is somewhat respectable, that most of you would have at least heard of. It supports, you know, an ATX motherboards. It also has wood grain, but it's like a lighter wood grain. That is actually such a nice design. How come I've never seen this case before? That is kind of interesting. Huh. Do we go for this? Go away, honey. I don't care. I don't want to be depressed by looking at the price graphs and the price like trend history. And the most important question here is how many fans it comes with, because that's going to like dictate so much else. It has 11 fan slots, but again, how many fans? It tells me how many USB 3 ports it has. For like computer memory type, DIMM. It's a PC case, what do you mean? Okay, but how many fans does it have? Unless it just doesn't, and that's why it doesn't tell me anywhere. It says right here, I should really learn to read. 4 pre-installed ARGB fans with the 5-board PWM. Oh, it comes with a control hub as well. Does it do RGB and PWM, or is it just a PWM hub? I think it's just PWM, but it's still, you get a hub, and you get 4 fans for $48 from a pretty decent company. I think we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have a winner. Unless anyone spots anything else that is like pretty decent. We're gonna go for this, which means that... Okay, we need to see how much money we have left. So, the Aerocool D501A mid-tower. Never heard of you, but you've definitely won the day today. Wrong column. That goes in this column. And it costs how much? $48. $48. There we go. We have a decent enough budget to work with. We still need that CPU cooler. And so if it comes with 4 pre-installed fans, it comes with 3 fans at the front. If we go back here, it comes with 3 fans at the front and 1 at the back. Obviously, you can always just change it around. However, if we go for an AIO, the only ones that were really in our budget were 2 40mm, which means that we'd have just 2 out of the 3 fan slots occupied at the top, which would look kind of ugly. And so I think we're going to go with an air cooler, and then you can just buy yourself some extra fans later. And with a 5070, I think the 3 fan setup here and 1 in the back is going to be probably enough to keep that and a 9600X cool. Maybe not long-term super amazing wow temperatures, but like whatever, you're going to have those 3 slots free that you can just add some more fans into. And then I'm assuming because they're just some basic Aerocool fans, it's not going to cost you too much to get matching fans. So yeah, I think we're going to go back and get that CPU cooler. That was, what was it? The Thermalright, which was, I think, on page 2 before we enter the wilderness, the true chaos that awaits us in page number 3. So yeah, CPU cooler, we're going with this, and it's going to cost us $38. We still need a PSU, and I think we're done because we're not going to get additional fans. We don't need an additional SSD because we already have one in a deal. So I think we're actually going to make it if we can get a PSU under $45, which could be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see. We'll see. If not, then we have to probably change something in the CPU. And yeah, the only PSUs here that are going to be in a price range are the types that also keep you awake at night with every single crack and pop you hear in the night, making you think that your PC is about to catch fire. So, something has to go. But what? Let me know where we can save some money in the parts we have so far, because we need to. We need to for the sake of getting a PC that's not going to kill us and everything we love. And there's this one, but like this one shows up as a Black Friday deal in every single one of these streams for like 2 or 3 streams now. And we basically looked it up once, and it was like, oh yeah, don't buy this. It literally failed before we got like a proper like a review, a full review done of it. So don't get it. So ideally, we usually go for something from like Corsair or Be Quiet or MSI, I think. Like MSI usually have some good deals, and it doesn't have to be white because it's gonna be hidden away by the case, so that's fine. That doesn't have to match, but still we need to save some money somewhere. And ideally, we're gonna go for something that's at least 850 watt to give us good breathing room for the 5070, and also for any additional changes we want to do in the future. It doesn't have to be modular. That's just pure decadence at that point, but we do need it to at least be 850 watts. And here, unfortunately, things are getting kind of slim. And this is where this stream falls apart, ladies and gentlemen. There's this one. It's fully modular. It's $90, 850 watts. To make things a bit easier for ourselves, let's go 850 watt PSU and then go like this way. There we go. I'm just going to make searching up slightly easier. We're saying no to Thermaltake. We're saying no to Rosewell. We're saying probably no to Red Dragon. Again, I'm aware of them. Would I trust them with a PSU? I don't know. Would you guys trust them? Would you give Red Dragon a go? Or Dark Flash? Or Rosewell? Do let me know. I have just bought a Hydewire 70 Touch Infinite, so my LSC will be moved from a Lian Li 011 Dynamic XO. You have some really good taste in cases. Though granted, they're also just the cases that have the most clones nowadays. When you go to a show like Computex, every other case manufacturer just has like a clone of basically that kind of style of case. They become kind of oversaturated, but they've also become oversaturated for a good reason. They kind of looked good, and obviously when something unique and good comes along, it doesn't stay unique for too long. Usually we have slightly better deals for power supplies, I'm pretty sure, than this. If we go back to any of the previous streams, I'm pretty sure we had better deals than this. Especially for 850 watts. I think that one from MSI is probably our best bet. Actually, no, we have this one right here, which is going to save us a few dollars. Few very, very important dollars. From Be Quiet, Pure Power 12, 850 watt. It's gold rated. It's Be Quiet, so, you know, it's not gonna... I was about to say it's not gonna blow up, but no. They had the one line of PSUs that blew up. It was the Dark Power Pro 13, I believe. The one I had in my PC, by the way. When I build my current rig, it was all nice and everything worked for like 5 minutes, and then just popped, loud noise, smell of something burning, and it was dead. And then when I talked to the Be Quiet guys at CES, they're like, yeah, it's a known issue. And then like some other people were talking about it on Twitter and everything, like it's sad to see that it was like the most popular PSU. It was a high-end PSU and acted like that, but sometimes it happens, and apparently they fixed it or something. So yeah, I think we're gonna go for this. Because, well, we have no choice but to go for this. And then we have to go back and change some stuff around, because we need to clear up a bit of space in our budget. $49 to be specific. We need to somehow find $49, and I have no idea where, judging by what we've been kind of seeing so far. And that's the kind of a problem. Does anyone here see any area where we could save $49 apart from downgrading the motherboard? I think that would be our only choice. I don't want to downgrade the CPU anymore because then it would just like make no sense with a 5070. However, the motherboard we can downgrade. Again, even if I'm not a fan of it, I think we do have to downgrade a bit. So if we go for like this one right here, the Eagle, how much does that save us? Does that mean we'll be safe? No, it won't. It would still need $14. So we need a motherboard that costs like what, 120. So if this is 140, we need a motherboard that costs like $126. And I don't think we'll be finding that. So I think we do have to downgrade something about the CPU. Unless there was like some other 5070 on sale. Was there? Just go do a Corsair CX550. I mean, I don't think it was on sale. And that's the rules of the game. Let's go back to the graphics card. If there's something, anything here where you can save, we don't need to save too much, and that's the difference. Like, if there's even just a 5070 here, a second model of a 5070 from someone other than ASUS that costs just $14 less, we're in the clear. That's all we need. $14. However, I don't think there is. That's the only 5070, and the only things under that are 5060 Ti's, which just is a bit too, like, that is like way cheaper than we need it to be. It's hard. This is like the hardest stream we did thus far. What is that RAM description? Sounds like an SSD. Oh yeah, so basically it's a bundle. So Crucial are doing a bundle. You get a 4TB Gen 4TB Gen 5 SSD, plus 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM in a bundle for however much, $539. Which again, like I said, given current RAM prices, you'd be paying like $250 for those 32 gigs as is. So you're getting a 4TB drive out of it. And again, it was like the only thing that was on sale as part of a Black Friday deal, memory-wise. So that's why I went for that, and that's what it means in the spreadsheet. That's why we didn't choose any SSD, because it came with the memory bundle. What should we do, guys? What should we do? We need to save $14 somewhere, or we just like. Let's go back and look at the CPUs. If we can save something here. Because again, here we have free reign, because everything counts, because nothing's on sale. Literally 0 CPUs are on sale, which is again the first time I've ever seen that. If there's like something that just costs $180 something, that's not this. That's like that's at least AM4. I mean AM5. Then we'll be fine. But I don't think there'll be anything AM5 that costs in that kind of price range. Oh, there's this. The 7600X. Sure. I know I sound defeated, and I am. Amazon, you have defeated me. You have actually defeated me, but whatever. We get this CPU. We get the we get that Eagle motherboard. And we are done. We are done. And we can all wallow in what a mess the Black Friday sale is right now on Amazon.com. $1,599 for that, ladies and gentlemen. Probably one of our most controversial builds of the whole series that's been going for like 5 years now. Could you find anything from AMD 9070 XT? Oh yeah, the 9070 XTs were like $100 more than the 5070, so that was definitely out. And again, anything slower was, on the other hand, too cheap. Like, we definitely had budget to spare to at least go for something like a 5070. Again, ideally, if that 5070 was just, if there was like some other ones, if there was a bit more competition, but there was just like one 5070 SKU from ASUS, like no gigabytes, no MSIs or anything, so we're kind of restricted there. Again, I don't know why, but it's pretty much only always ASUS that do NVIDIA cards for all of these Amazon sales whenever we do one of these live streams, and it's usually like Power Color, XFX that do the AMD side of things. So that is what our PC looks like now. Let's see if Newegg can beat it. And before we go into round 2, is your reminder to, again, if you're buying anything from either of these websites, to use our links, which will be down in the video description below. I have slightly better hopes because they have plenty of bundles, plenty of deals, and so I think we could definitely find something that works for us on Newegg. And by the way, at least they have the Black Friday branding down. Amazon, your Black Friday color is orange. Why? Well, why not just make things black for Black Friday? I don't know. Obviously, I guess it's part of it is just to differentiate it from like the blue they use for like Prime Day or whatever, but it's like still. Could you save some money going 40 series? I don't think there was anything 40 series on sale. And again, the rules of the game are that we can only buy stuff that actually has the little Black Friday deal label on it. So I don't think there was anything 40 series. The only things that were there were the 5070, 5060 Ti, I think it was a 5060, and then 9070 XT, 9060 XT I think was there as well as just like some like GT 730s and like other basic like 1 gig, 2 gigabyte cards from like several generations ago that are only used for like, I don't know, having a basic video output essentially, and that's it. Anyway, so I don't use Newegg a lot, even though I usually use it to present pricing for anything in my videos. I don't use it a lot, so I don't know. How do you get the deals? Oh, there it is. Combo deals. Wow. Thanks so much for that amazing deal in eShop, Nintendo eShop gift cards. I always wondered how these kind of deals work. Like you get $100 for $88. Like how does it work for anyone? Either way. The good thing here is, look at this. We have deals with memory already included. However, this one at least, that's a DDR4. That's DDR4. And a B760. Is B760 DDR4 or DDR5? I can't remember now. Yeah, it says DDR4. Ugh. Granted, going DDR4 is a way to save money now. And if you go with one of these LG 1700 systems, you have the benefit because you can choose whether you can go for a DDR4 motherboard or you go for a DDR5 motherboard. People who are still stuck on DDR4 are probably laughing at us DDR5 users now. Using cheap memory before it was, cool. Let's go back to deals quickly. See, there's these things right here, but they're already sold out because they actually had memory, and anything that has memory's just been sold out. Sad, depressing world. So, should we go for one of these? And then, because at least it ensures we get memory against DDR4, but at least we get memory. Let's see what memory even is available. Oh my goodness, these have gone up since I last looked, like yesterday when I was making a video. These have actually gone up since I was making that video. I even joked about it in the video how I spotted a single kit of 32 gigs below $200, and by the time I went to edit that video, that listing was gone. Like, I just made it up, that it was just a figment of my imagination, so I don't even have proof it existed. And I'm pretty sure they've gone up again since I made that video. Incredible stuff. Incredible scenes. Hey, at least you get, what, $20 off with promo code from $570 for 64 gigs. This is the kind of pricing I'd expect if you're trying to bundle 64 gigabytes with like DDR1. Oh. I don't know. I really don't know like how we can possibly make this work unless we go for DDR4. So what do we do? What do we do, people? Let me know, because I'm actually lost. And the thing is, I was actually thinking of upgrading to 128 gigs myself, because I kind of need it for editing. There are some projects whenever I export them in DaVinci that makes like everything crash because I'm running out of memory. But then I was thinking like maybe I can convince one of the companies to send me 128 gigs, and now like no company will be able to send me it because they're all, you know, completely out. So yeah, that's fun. Obviously, I like the best we have here is this 32 gigs from Corsair, $409. I think that's the cheapest we have here, and we definitely don't want to go below $32. I think that there would be some cheaper kits, but like 16 gigabytes in 2025, almost 2026. I'm sorry, that's just not allowed. Yeah, DDR4, you can get yourself a 16 gig stick for laptop, whatever, but like DDR4 is still mostly fine. You can still get DDR3. I wonder if we get to the point where like we just start going back to these systems because we can actually afford memory for them. If it gets that bad as some analysts predict it will. Oh my word. Trident Z Royals cost the least of most of a what? How is it that Trident Z Royals are one of the most like cost efficient things here? I have this exact set, by the way. They look amazing in person, and I really want to use them for a project, but I no project has come along yet where I can actually use them. There is this right here though. I just noticed Patriot memory, Viper Venom 32 gigs, DDR5, and it is actually $229. Well, $230. I'm surprised this hasn't been like eaten up by the vultures, because that is actually pretty good for the standards we are dealing with here, even though the standards are just rock bottom. Also, another thing I just noticed, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now, but why are the main things being searched for HR block and tax software and NVIDIA Shield Pro? So unless anyone can spot anything better than that here, I think we're going to go for that. I think we are going to go for that. I very much expected that the main combos they have are for DDR4, because again, they just can't afford to make combos for DDR5 given how precious it has become. But yeah, unless anyone can spot anything better, what we can do is make things a bit easier for ourselves and use some filters. And we want just sort by lowest price. How do I select multi-channel, BIOS, color? Where do I just set if it's like DDR5 or not? There it is at the very top. I just missed it because again my camera tripod was in the way. Yeah, these ones are by far the cheapest, and honestly I would not be surprised if by the end of the live stream that it's gonna be sold out. Let's do a bit of an experiment. We're gonna go back to these at the end of the live stream and we're gonna see if they're sold out or not. I'm certain that at least 1 or 2 people watching this live stream are gonna go and snipe these after they see that they can get some 32 gigs at a somehow not quite as extortion as it could be priced of $230. So that goes in this category, and there we go. It's gonna bother me if it's gonna cut off the text right there. Again, we're working completely backwards, but we kind of have to. Also, this conditional formatting is backwards. How do I do it that it's... There we go. cheaper is better. I just added this so we can get a clearer picture at the end of who's the winner, who's the loser. Actually, we can honestly do this across all of these, right? So if we just do this and this, conditional formatting, and that way we can get like a clearer picture of who's going to be the cheaper and the more expensive one in every single category between Amazon and Newegg. Okay, I'm going to do it in a second because it's going to take a while, but for now, let's just go back and look for a good CPU that's on sale right now, shall we? We do have a 9800X 3D for an okay-ish price. Or again, do we go for graphics card first, and then I think we go graphics card first, and then we just see what we can squeeze in, because that's, let's be honest, the more important thing when it comes to gaming and pretty much everything performance nowadays. Everything is becoming just mostly GPU accelerated, that CPUs are less and less important, especially as we are starting to slowly abandon 1080p for higher resolutions. Yeah, we're definitely not going for a 5080, 5070 Ti. If we can go for a 5070 again, that would be sweet. Or ideally, something like a 9070 XT that's not as expensive as it was on Amazon, like this one right here. Like the 9060 XT was like $630 some dollars, I believe, something like that on over on Amazon. So this would at least be something. Oh, there we go. Again, it's ASUS with the most deals. Interesting. So that you get yourself an Asus Prime 5070, 12 gigs, whatever, for $527. Is that actually cheaper? Yeah, it is cheaper by, not by much, but at least by a decent enough amount. That I think we're just gonna go for this. How about an Intel Arc for the lols? I don't think we're that desperate. It's gonna sound so mean to Intel, but like, I'm sorry, they need to make some newer high-end stuff if we can really just consider them. Like, they do have a B580 right here for sale, $250 from Onyx, who I have no idea who that is. Like, the issue is that obviously Nvidia discourage the partners from making Intel cards, so that's why the most companies who make Intel cards, like some just completely unknown to us here in the West brands from China and stuff like that. But yeah, we do have quite a bit of a budget where I don't think we have to resort to using this. And like, I'm a big supporter of Intel succeeding. I even bought a 770 myself just to even experiment and see how good of a product Intel can make. And it turned out to actually be slightly faster than the 1080 Ti I was running at the time. So hey, I got an upgrade out of it. So yeah, we're going to go for this, especially because it also gives us a pretty good comparison to the Amazon build, because it's the exact same GPU. How much did they say it's going to cost? Where was it? I lost it already. $527. There we go. It's also annoying me that these here are not in the correct font, so there we go. Now everything is nice and tidy in my spreadsheet. Cool. So let's go back and see what we can do CPU and motherboard wise. If they just had CPU and motherboard bundles without RAM for people who maybe already have some memory lying around, that could be cool. But I understand that most people just buy the CPU and memory and motherboard all together, so I understand why that is the kind of bundles they prioritize. But whatever. Wait, is this new? That wasn't there when we were looking for bundles earlier. Granted, it's ridiculously expensive, but technically it could possibly work. If that's $825 and our graphics card is $527, we're still gonna have a bit spare. Do we go for this? What is this? And why wasn't this showing up earlier? Oh, that's why it wasn't showing up earlier, because it's out of stock. And why are you showing it there on the main page when it's out of stock, giving me hope that things could be better than they are. Okay, no combos, no bundles for us, just doing it ourselves. So over on the Amazon build, we went for 9600X, and over there it cost us $180. So it's actually a better deal on Amazon than it is on Newegg. That's one thing to note. You do get $10 off with a promo code. However, even then, that's going to be $204. So it's still, you're still saving $24 over on Amazon. So that's a tip for anyone watching. If you're buying that specific CPU, do it over on Amazon. And do it using our links, again, in the video description below. Buy anything and you help the channel. Again, why is this showing up as like add to cart? Unless it's sold out so quickly that they just didn't even update this page yet. So is there anything that's a better deal? I don't want to buy that because it is literally just... It will be annoying to have to buy that given how I know we can get a better deal on Amazon, but still. Like for the same price as Amazon charges, you can Newegg can only offer you a 7600. So that's a whole generational upgrade and then some, because it's a non-X versus an X here that you're getting over on Amazon side. In terms of other stuff around that kind of $200 price point, we do have a 7600X. Nothing too exciting apart from that, unless we go for Intel on the CPU side of things. I'm assuming the second I click on this bundle, it's going to tell me it's out of stock. It isn't. Granted, it's way out of a budget though. I mean, you're getting yourself an AI master, whatever, Aorus motherboard with this. Like that alone costs more than a CPU. Yeah, this is a bit too... I can see why that deal is still actually there. Because it's kind of expensive. And also because no one cares about Intel's current generation of CPUs. So yeah, like it or not, I think we're going to have to go for the exact same CPU, even if we're paying a bit more for it. But oh well, that's just kind of part of this experiment, I'm guessing. Just seeing what the price differences will be like between Amazon and also on Newegg. So if we go back here, there's the promo code, so I'm just gonna go with $204. That's still at least a victory in this category for Amazon, but we still have a long way to go. Next, we need to actually pick out a motherboard for this. And again, I'm wondering what we're gonna see here that's actually available. Motherboards. Okay, let's see what you have, Newegg. Already, there's so many more options here, which I do like. And then there's just some like random server boards thrown in as well for good measure, because why not? What do we go for here, ladies and gentlemen? Because we have options. We have plenty of options. First off, we need to definitely make it that it's only AMD and it's only AM5. And now we can do it by a lowest price. I don't want to go for M80X motherboard, even though I know they cost less. Even though I know most people are not going to use those additional PCIe slots that they come with, but like still. Especially because we do have full-size ATX motherboards here that aren't that much more expensive, like this one here from MSI. Again, it's B650. If we can, I at least want to go B850. And I still find it annoying that they skipped a generation just to keep up with Intel, but oh well. There's a, yeah, we have two choices here, either from Asus, a Prime, which is a very basic one, or from Gigabyte, the Eagle, it's just going to be a few dollars more. But I don't know, I just kind of... Let's compare the two, shall we? Because I don't think we're getting anything else here that's going to be... Okay, no, we do have another one here from Asus, the B850 Max Gaming. Are there any Azrocons? Azrocons have been such a good deal so far. Like, in all my motherboard videos, I usually just sing praises to the Azrocon motherboards because they're usually such a good deal when they're not frying motherboards. When they're not frying CPUs, I mean. Granted, we're not having an XVD chip, so I think we're safe. I don't think we'll be getting anything too good from ASRock this time around, so I think it's just going to be between these three Asus and, or these two Asus and this one gigabyte motherboard. So let's go in and compare which one's the best. I'm sorry, you're leaving me for the WAN show because WAN show's early? Well, say hello to Linus from me, I guess. Okay, hopefully I'll see you around the channel then. Enjoy your WAN show. Enjoy your WAN show. Are you gonna have this much fun looking at PC parts over at the WAN show? I don't think so. No, I'm not bitter. No, I'm not salty. Though to be fair, I think they're probably gonna be doing like a Black Friday thing as well. I'm pretty sure that over at LTT they've done like a similar thing before. Like a similar format. Just looking for deals basically, and it's fun. It's fun for the whole family, just looking at how good or how bad the market is, and especially nowadays there's the added drama of, you know, farming reaction clips, looking at DDR5 prices. So with this one, we're getting ourselves. I'm mostly just looking at what the rear I/O is like, because that's one of those things that really affects the motherboard the most to the average user. You do get 10 gigabit type C, that's fine. 2.5 gig Ethernet, good enough. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 type A ports. Again, that's gonna be fine. So, what was the other one from them? It was the It's not. Why is it not showing up here? I swear there was another one that was like $160. Or do we just like not look into it, and to ensure that this live stream actually finishes in a timely manner, we just go for this one because it's like good enough. Granted, it doesn't really match the rest of our build because it is in white, and I'm pretty sure. Let me quickly check. I'm pretty sure that the graphics card we have is white. No, it's black or white. It's black. So yeah, we are gonna have to go for a black motherboard as well. So yeah, let me quickly go back here, and we can see what other motherboards we have to choose from. LTT has gone downhill nowadays. I barely watch it. Yes, same. It's been so long since I watched like anything from them. One, because like there hasn't been anything that's been really exciting, but also like so many people have been leaving there recently. So many faces that really made the content. And like the thing about the whole team around LMG and the LTT channel is that there was always this kind of very weird relationship that Linus had with the way the audience interacted and how he perceived his role versus the role of his team. I think it's the best way to put it. I remember watching a WAN show ages ago where he said that he like plans to retroactively remove the Linus from LTT, basically, like just make the company and make the channel basically LTT and like rename the company so his name isn't in there, because he wants it to be about the team, and he wants the team to continue if he like retired or something happened to him or whatever. But then I'm assuming that went nowhere, and because one, obviously the company's still called Linus Media Group and the channel is still called Linus Tech Tips, but also two, he went to hosting a lot more videos. There was like kind of focus on a while to really get a lot more of a host, to have it be a really multi-host channel, and now it's just back to him posting most of it. And there's this very weird relationship that he has with the overall love and support that the team has, like the audience has for the team, because obviously there's been a lot of drama before when it comes to people leaving or like people like saying stuff that's been happening at the company. And there's always going to be this element of a parasocial relationship that the audience is going to have with all of these people. They even removed the team page. They removed all of the staff member names from the LMG website because they didn't want people just to immediately see like who quit, who got fired or whatever, even if they just could go to LinkedIn for that. But the thing is, they have the kind of huge love for the audience. I mean, the audience have such a huge love for all of those people that so many companies could only dream of. So many companies could only dream of having such a liked group of people and on-camera personalities that people will go to such lengths that they'll, look at all of these like corporate pages to see if they're still working there, and like look at the LinkedIns and make a fuss if these people leave or not. Like, sure, on the one hand it can go a bit too far sometimes, but on the other hand, like that kind of love and appreciation for people doesn't come to everyone. And it's all of a sudden it's like you see all these people leaving and so much going back to it being about Linus that, I don't know, it feels like it's like trying to have one's cake and eat it too. You can't make it that it's a multi-host team and like a multi-host channel where you're also trying to limit your audience's access to these people by, making it that you can't see who's working there on the LMG page, or like discouraging people from generally growing attachments to these people. That's just kind of my few cents on that. I really don't get it. It's, again, trying to have one's cake and eat it. But whatever, we're going back to our motherboards here, and our choices were basically the B850 ones between the Eagle and the Plus right here, the Prime Plus. So let's go with the Eagle next and see what we have here. Reading between the lines, I think Linus was quite hard to work for. I miss Jason and his wife on tech deals. They just disappeared overnight. Yeah. I have a PC with 2 graphics cards and a Radeon 550 paired with a Radeon 570, and my CPU is Ryzen 7 3700X. Should I upgrade any of my components? Yeah, most of them. Okay, definitely the graphics card is the big one here. Depending on what resolution you play on, if you get a graphics card and you bundle it with like a nice 1440p or even like a 4K monitor, then you probably wouldn't need to upgrade your CPU as soon. However, if you're, I'm assuming, sticking with 1080p, then you definitely need to get both a CPU and a GPU upgrade then if you want to get really decent performance in modern titles. Especially because you also, it's at that point when you're using a 550 or 570, you're not just losing out on basically better performance, but you're also losing out on features that are limited by just the HDMI and DisplayPort specs that those have. You're reducing your maximum possible refresh rate. You're reducing the you can't have HDR, like stuff like that. That's also stuff you're being limited by having one of these older ones. So yeah, I think we probably go for this Eagle. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 USB Type A ports, which is pretty nice. The USB Type C port is only 5 gigabit, which is extremely disappointing. And also, you only get one PS2 port. I really wish we had 2 PS2 ports. You have one for your mouse, one for your keyboard, basic stuff. I think we can all agree that 2 PS2 ports are the bare minimum for a motherboard in 2025, but whatever. And this is kind of, again, proves my point, which I was saying earlier. I probably made a video about this very motherboard, but again, I've done videos on so many motherboards, I can't remember how many USB Type A ports it has off the top of my head. So yeah, and our other one was the Plus here. Let's have a look at the rear I/O. We have ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 USB Type A ports, but at least the Type C port is 10 gigabit. It's also, it won't match as much because it's kind of like this mix of white and black. So let me know which one of these 2 motherboards we should go for. Are we going for the Asus, which has faster USB Type-C but less USB Type-A, and also just generally kind of won't fit our build as nicely, I think? Or do we go for the Eagle, which is going to cost us $5 more, but I don't think it will be that tied down by the budget on the Newegg one. Maybe. I shouldn't jinx it. I shouldn't jinx it. In fact, this is the perfect opportunity to use one of those poll features that YouTube has now. So we can go here, add poll. Option number 1 is the Gigabyte Eagle. And option number 2 is the Asus Prime Plus. Boom. You can now vote. Make your voice heard in the poll. The choice you're making right here is more important than any election you've ever taken part in your life. And it's already 50-50. Great, after a fantastic start. While that's being done, I think we could probably just look at something else in the meantime, so we're not wasting time, because we've already been streaming for... How long have we been streaming for? It's a very good question. An hour and like, what, 20 minutes? Ooh. Okay, what do we need next? Let's go and look at some storage next, shall we? But where's the storage thing? There we go, SSD. And let's sort by lowest price. This isn't the kind of SSDs I meant, but internal SSDs. There we go. We're aiming at least like 1 terabyte. 2 terabytes would be nice, especially given like the sizes of modern games. So I think that's what we're going to be aiming for, 2 terabytes at least. And there's also always a debate that I have in these live streams where we go for like one very, very small boot drive. You know, just like even like a 128 gigabyte drive for just your Windows and your very basic apps. You know, your Chrome and maybe like your Photoshop and your editing software, and then like I have like a larger 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte one for your actual games and your other files. Again, depends on the kind of price. Respect over there in chat for still running a 980 Ti in 2025. Can we just sort by capacity? We can. There we go. 2 terabytes, please. Hopefully at least PC Gen 4. And WD Blue, $155. I think that's gonna be our best bet here. Actually, no, you can get a Samsung one for slightly more. I think that's gonna be the one we go for here. No point trying to complicate things. Let's just stick with that. $160. And we can't really compare the price to what it was like on Amazon because, well, we just had a bundle with an SSD. And besides, it wouldn't be kind of fair because this is a 2 terabyte one and we had a 4 terabyte one over there. So on to the PSU. Well, let's see what the poll is like right now. Gigabyte is winning so far, but can Asus still somehow beat him out? I'll give you a couple of more minutes to decide the fate of this system, and in the meantime we can look at a PSU that's on sale. So power supplies, where are power supplies? There's power supplies, and again we'll be aiming for at least 850 watts. I think that would be good enough for this kind of build. Gives us some headroom and is that kind of nice point for a 5070. And again, it's pretty much the same brands we've been seeing there. It's mostly it's mostly Corsairs, it's mostly MSIs on sale, it's mostly Be Quiets on sale. And again, Thermaltakes as well, which we're not gonna approach. Are we just gonna go with this one? We looked at this exact one, and I believe it was like $90. No, this is 90. I think it was like $100 over on Amazon. Actually, how much did we end up paying on Amazon for our PSU? so I know kind of what to aim for. $84, okay. Right now, the closest thing I'm seeing to that price is the Rosewell, which I think we're going to avoid for now. The Thermal Take, which I'm also going to say no thank you to. Ooh. Maybe something from, like, Be Quiet, like... There's, like, this thing. ASRock Pro. I didn't even know ASRock make power supplies. This doesn't look like a very solid unit. It doesn't even have reviews. But I don't know, I'd definitely trust ASRock more with a PSU than like a Thermaltake. And definitely more than whoever Superflower or Vetro are. Again, I've heard of these brands just because of how many of these streams I've done now. But again, like, I wouldn't really trust them. Difference between WD Blue and WD Black. WD Black is like the more premium gaming series, so those are usually faster. Thanks so much for coming to the live stream. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be doing another one on Monday anyway for Cyber Monday. So hey. Also, is it actually 6:30 already? Oh wow. Okay, yeah. I still haven't eaten, by the way. Oh, should probably be wrapping this stream soon, but it's just so much fun just comparing pricing on power supplies. Because I'm sad like that. I spend my afternoons studying the prices of 850 watt power supplies on Newegg, and then I wonder why I've never had a girlfriend. Well, there's my answer. Just kidding. I have all of you amazing people that I'm spending this time with, and we're having so much fun. We're having so much fun here. Superflower make great PSUs. If you say so, Justin, I trust you. I trust your judgment. If they have one in a price range over here, then I think we could go for it. However, the only one I'm seeing is this one. I mean, people clearly like it. It has 4.7 stars, well not stars, 4.7 eggs, because we are on Newegg after all. But, oh, man, if there's just something that's around the same as that one on Amazon, but I'm not seeing a deal as good as that here. Around $84. Which means we may have to spend a bit more. But again, I don't think that's the end of the world. Oh no! I was just flipping up and down, up and down, up and down. I completely missed this one right here from Cooler Master. I think we trust Cooler Master, guys. Guys, do we trust Cooler Master with a PSU? Do we trust Cooler Master with not blowing up your house? If not, then we'd probably go for this one right here from Be Quiet. $97. I think that's gonna be our best alternative. Oh no, never mind. There is this one. This is one from MSI I was looking for before. So that's $90. How much was the Cooler Master one again? $80. Do we spend $10 more and go for a CPU from a more trusted, not CPU, PSU from a more trusted brand, and we also get ourselves a $30 Steam code, perfect for those Steam Black Friday deals? Or do we go for? Do we take a bit of a risk? Do we take a bit of a gamble? And we save $10 to go for the. Where is it gone? I can't. There it is. For the Cooler Master MWE. Do we go for it? Do we go for the Cooler Master? Let's go for the Cooler Master. Like, people are clearly liking it. It hasn't blown up too many houses, judging by the 4.2 rating. So let's just go for that. And that is another part of the puzzle here complete. It's only $10. I get it, but we have $400 left, and we still need to get a motherboard, a CPU, a cooler, a case. Honestly, now that I say all of that, we could be a bit under. But again, once we add that motherboard back in, it's probably gonna be a lot of a smaller margin. Okay, and people have pretty much just voted for the Gigabyte Eagle. So that is what we're gonna go for. The polls have now closed, and the Gigabyte Eagle is our motherboard of choice for this build. Where is it? The B850 one right here. Not the it was the... Yeah, there it is. So that goes into here. Why is the text like that? There it is. That's our motherboard, and the price was $165. Did they say? Yeah, it is. Cool. Let's just quickly compare the two. Should have done this before, but I only just later I thought of it. So yeah, we are definitely getting a cheaper motherboard on Amazon, but that's because it's just a B650 one. So that's why. Let's go with the CPU cooler next. See what kind of deals we have over there compared to Amazon. Fans and PC cooling, sure. We can get ourselves a Razer AIO for $30? Huh? That's kind of insane. It's 240 mil. It's not 360, but that's decent enough, especially for our CPU. That is actually insane. But again, I think, okay, yeah, let's do it in the same order we did it over on Amazon. And we start with the case, because then that further dictates what are, if we go for an AIO or not, basically. And ideally, we're also aiming for the same price of, how much was it? $48. And it was an Aerocool, so it wasn't even like a complete no-name brand. And let's go lowest price first. And also, let's just go with ATX mid-tower. There we go. There's this thing from Raid Max over here. There's this thing that kind of has a front that reminds me of the Framework PC, right? It kind of looks like that with all those squares. But we're going for a black one here, so we can maybe go for like a Rosewell ACA 501 with, I believe, 3 pre-included fans. Again, if we're aiming for around $48, these two rows here is what we want to be focusing on. That fractal one could be pretty good. It comes with, like, you know, fractal fans, which are decent. But I think Rosewell is really dominating this exact price point we're looking at here. So I think we're just going to go with basically the thing that looks the prettiest, which I think is going to be this thing right here. Looking at all our options, it's a bit tacky, but not as tacky as the other ones. It comes with, what, 4 pre-included fans in total, I'm guessing? Yeah. So we're probably not going to go for an AO again, because it would just annoy me if we had just a single AO up here and just have a 120mm gap. That would be annoying. So I think we're just going to go for this, unless anyone has spotted anything that's much better, or if they just think that this just insults the aesthetic sense or whatever. I think we just go for this. I think this is the first time. Is this the first time we've gone for a Rosewell case on one of these builds? Are there any historians that study this series and know all of the facts inside and out that could maybe tell me? $50, which means that we have actually a bit of a budget to work with. So we could ideally go with a slightly better case, or we also can just go for a CPU cooler that will 100% not suffocate our CPU. So let's quickly go back to cooling. There it is. And see what we can achieve here. So, our options when it comes to cooling. are, if we're going either a 360mm AIO, or we are going for at least like a double fan, double heatsink design regular air cooler. And we do have some decently priced 360mm. There is this one right here from Cooler Master for just $50. That's a pretty good price. There's this one right here from Corsair for $90. That's again pretty decent for a Corsair one. And I think that's pretty much where it ends when it comes to there's this thing called, very creatively called the PC Cooler. I wonder how they came up with that name. There's also an MSI Mag core liquid here, but that's white, and we're going for more of a black build here. So yeah, I think we could actually go for an AIO, especially because I'm not seeing too much in terms of air coolers that we could go for, apart from this one from Be Quiet, but this one's $80. So let's just sort by price again. And the first thing we get is just fittings, fans. Okay, let's do some sorting here. I want, yeah, if we select this, I hope it's, what? Okay, I think that's kind of broken. I just want coolers. How hard can it be just to select like AIOs and regular air coolers? Because there's like a separate categories and I just want to lump them together. I don't think there's a way. That's annoying. That's an oversight on the side of Newegg, but whatever. This is basically where we're looking at. There's this thing, but again, pure enough is PC cooler. There's this one from Cooler Master, Hyper 612. But at the same time, we can just go for this and be done with it. So I think that is what we're going to go for. Again, unless anyone has some big reservations about us going for this one right here. It's rated well. It's probably not going to leak. And it's MSI. I'd trust MSI with cooling. So that's that. And cost us, how much do they say? $50. That means we do actually have a bit of money left. So what we'd ideally do with that money, wow, I don't know, because the issue is like, what could we honestly upgrade with that kind of money? Apart from maybe getting, like I said, having a separate boot drive. Having just like a very, very small boot drive that's like 128 gigs, and then you could just have that storage left for your games, for your big files, for your projects or whatever. I'm so glad I got my PC built before these crazy memory prices. Yeah, everyone who like just built, consider yourself lucky. If you thought to yourself, oh, I'm gonna wait till Black Friday, there's certainly gonna be some good PC deals for memory and whatnot. Yeah, you got played. So unfortunately, if you didn't have time, then I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, especially because it's probably gonna be the same on eBay. People are probably already raising prices. I have a few projects coming up where I need some memory, and luckily enough I have some spare that some companies have sent over. They would have never sent me any memory now. Like if I went begging for some memory, I'll just get told like, yeah, no, sorry, have you seen the market? Okay, go for a bigger drive, that's true. 2 terabytes nowadays, I mean, just this isn't enough, you know? That's like 2 AAA games nowadays. So let's go back and pick something from here that's slightly bigger. So what kind of budget do we have for it then? We can go for something that costs $246 max. There we go. That's our maximum. What do we have in that price range? That's more than 2 terabytes. There's this one right here from King Spec, which I don't think I'd trust King Spec with all of your precious memories and everything else going to store on this. Is there going to be like anything that's like at least 4 terabytes for this price? Only King Spec. So that means we're only left with like what? 3 terabytes probably max that we'll be getting for this price. Does anyone even make 3 terabyte drives, or is it all just like 1, 2, and then 4 straight away? 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte. What if I just sort? Wait, can I sort for like exactly? No, I can't even sort for exactly 3 terabytes. So yeah, the only other way we could do this is just get an additional 1 terabyte one, and then again have just the idea of a boot drive and like a main drive and then like a separate drive for your games and other stuff. We could honestly even go with something like this from PNY. Like, yeah, trust PNY. It's Gen 4, and we're still gonna have some money left over. Or if you want a really good deal, we can go for a Samsung one, because we get a McAfee license for free with it. That's worth at least $100. And there is some of these right here that have a promo code. That's another thing to keep in mind. Like, you can get like an SK Hynix one for a Gen 5 one as well. I think, let's just go with this one. It's going to be 80, with the $10, it's going to be $75, and we're still going to have some money left over. And that's going to basically be like your main boot drive, essentially, for 85. Boom. And we still have some money spare that you can, I don't know, buy something with. What can you even buy with that kind of money nowadays? Not much. So whatever. We have some 2 very different, very interesting builds here. We do have a cheaper CPU on the AMD side, on the Amazon side. We have a cheaper motherboard. That's just because it's a worse motherboard on every single regard, probably. We have a cheaper cooler, but again, it's an air cooler versus an AIO. Memory, we have 32 gigs on both. GPU wise, we paid way less for a 5070 over on Newegg. SSD wise, we have 4 terabytes on Amazon versus 3 terabytes here, and we wouldn't be able to afford 3 terabytes in a budget on a Newegg. PS2 wise, we paid $4 less for Cooler Master 1 versus a Be Quiet 1. And case-wise, I mean, there's quite a few options, but I didn't see that Aerocool one over on Newegg, and that one looked pretty decent. Mostly in that kind of price range, you only had Roseville over on Newegg. These were some pretty interesting builds, to say the least. One of the most difficult one of these live streams we've ever done. Just because of those memory pricing, but also because Amazon, for some reason, decided not to have any sales for any CPUs. I don't know why. Why was there no CPUs on sale? I really don't get it. Newegg, on the other hand, you know, it saved itself with the fact that we saved a bit on like the 5070, but the combos, which is like non-existent, or no, the combos did exist, they were just sold out already, and the only ones that were left were ones for like Intel, you know, 200 series CPUs and a motherboard that costs more than the CPU. And there were the only other deals were ones with like DDR4 memory and a ATX motherboard. So yeah, 2 very, very interesting builds. Let me know which one you like more, which one you like less, because they both have their kind of strengths and weaknesses, really. And again, we'll be doing probably the same thing on Monday, when it is Cyber Monday, even though, let's be honest, it's like no different. And a lot of these companies, they already have like black weeks in some cases, because one day of deals is enough. So we also had Cyber Monday after that, and they were like 2 days of deals isn't enough. So they have like Black Friday weekend, but then they were like 4 days of deals isn't enough. So they created Black Week essentially next, and but this time next year it's gonna be Black Month. And then it's going to be like, what, Black Year after that? I don't know. But yeah, two very, very weird builds. And we'll be doing all of this again on Monday. Yay! The nightmare repeats itself. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, make sure to, well, first and foremost, again, use our Amazon links and use our Newegg links if you are going to buy anything during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Black Week, and whatever else they're like marketing it as nowadays. And if you want to do something else, then hey, Patreon's also a thing. And by the way, if you are at least a $10 tier patron, then you'll be getting a special Christmas card this December and some other cool stuff. So definitely do not miss out on that. But anyway, that's what it's. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, then make sure to subscribe, like whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Good.